Welcome back. And next, I would like to share with you about the accommodations. Imagine after the borders open again, when you are travel abroad, you are looking for a place to stay. Which one will you choose? Will you choose hotel or Airbnb? Hotels, of course, if they follow the standard cleanliness, it will be very safe. But because in hotels there are also more people there, you will meet more people, so the risk is still a little bit higher. But Airbnb, because usually each time in one room there's only one group of guests, and if they also apply the same procedure of the cleanliness, I personally will actually choose Airbnb. And next I'm going to introduce to you a place in Hualien, the east of Taiwan, a place called Terrace Resort. And this place is actually chosen by Airbnb in 2019 as one of the top 10 accommodations. As you can see from the picture, it's located in the middle of mountains. To arrive there, you actually have to pass through 9 sharp curves. And the best part of this place is it contains a big platform, and you can use this platform to dine or to enjoy a very relaxed afternoon tea. And usually when people and the special part of this Terrace resort, unlike other B&B, when you go, you just check in, and the rest of the day you are on your own. Over there, they try to add the local specialty into the place. So over there, we experience to make our own glue wine with a different spice, and they also offer you a very popular black tea from that region. And the owner, whose name is Ada, he also spent the whole afternoon share with the guests about his idea, how he built this place, and also the platform. And himself, he also work with the indigenous tribe. He often take people to visit the tribe to give them a deeper experience about the tribe life. And at dinner time, sometimes he also invite his friends to sing a song, to bring people some live music. And the dinner is also offered by the private chef. So every time you go, you will taste different style of cuisine, and of course it can all be customized. And customized will become very important as well in the future. And next, differentiation is vital. Some of you might not recognize this brand, Blockbuster, but in fact, in the 90s, it's a very famous industry. Before, we don't have Netflix or YouTube. If you want to see some videos, you have to go to a place like Blockbuster, where they have hundreds of thousands of different video tapes, start from video tapes, and then DVD, and then even Blu-ray DVD. But because today now people usually watch online, so originally they have thousands of stores all over the world, but now there's only one remain in the US. And this year they decided to cooperate with Airbnb and turn the whole store into a home cinema, and which is also people's dream. Like when I was little, I always dream if I can own a place like Blockbuster, and so I can stay on the couch or on a very comfortable bed to watch the video I like the whole the whole day or the whole night. And this special deal only opened for 2 days in September, and each night it only costs you $4. So of course, make Blockbuster become very popular on the website again. And so if your home country has something special like this, something unique, or if it's possible, try to find the differentiation compared to other products on the market, and I believe that's how it become more outstanding. And next is offer private or small group options. And according to their survey, 62% said private tours are the most appealing. And in fact, in our company start from 7 years ago, we mainly focus on customized tours and of course small groups as well. So I often just take 2 to 6, sometimes if it's a bigger family with 10 people, and to travel around Taiwan. And most of all our guests enjoy it very much, and that's also the way they've been traveled for years. And especially after the pandemic, because people will no longer want to stay in a big tour bus with other 30 people, and especially if you are traveling abroad, you see people from different countries, and people might get worried where they are from. Is it safe? Do people wear masks there all the time? So private or small groups will definitely be the new trend. And besides the customized, also flexibility in tours, activities, and attractions will be increasingly important. And like right now, as I mentioned, Taiwan is very popular for domestic tours, and most of these tours now they offer the deal that before you head on the minivan or bus, they will check your body temperature, and if your body temperature is over 37.5 or if it's over 38, then they will have to cancel your trip, but they'll offer you a full refund, because after the coronavirus, anything could happen. And also we know that the virus stay in your body for a long time, so it can be 2 weeks, 3 weeks until you taste it. So once it happened, of course, people don't want to give their money away. So if your company or if your tour can offer these flexibilities, people will feel more safe and also trust to you, so they will be more willing to book the trip. Take another example. My friend who planned to visit Japan in March, but unfortunately because of the COVID-19, right 2 weeks before they leave, they decided to cancel it. But because when they plan the trip, they book the cheapest price with accommodations, and usually the cheapest price is not allowed refund. So although they send them lots of emails, try to communicate with them that it's not because we want to cancel, it's because of the pandemic. But at the end, the hotel, they still wouldn't give them any refund, so they lost this money. So of course they cannot get the money back. So flexibility, very, very important. And next, I would like to introduce to you some different way of the tourism, and I also believe it's going to be a new trend. And people would start to discuss about it, or you might heard of it before. But in the future, it will definitely be more and more important and more popular. And first is the community-based tourism, which giving visitors the chance to meet local people and experience authentic culture exchange. And it's about supporting local-led projects that have a direct benefit for the local community. And we can also combine this idea with the tribal tour I mentioned earlier. Like this picture, you can see in the picture this young men and women who is dressing this red robe. They are all from the tribe in the north of Taiwan. And other people, they are the students from the US. And on that day, they experienced one of the traditional plant dyeing. And they started from the beginning, from the plant, how to make the ink, and then you dye the fabric yourself, and then the result about 2 hours. And through this procedure, and also by leading of these young people from the tribe, they understand their culture more. And also when you leave, you have something with you, and and people know that they are actually helping the community. So it's not just a regular tour that you stop by and you take photos, you buy some souvenirs, and back to the bus and continue. And I believe people in the future, this will be more and more popular. And next, I would like to introduce to you another community-based tour operated by this group of young people called Take the Sea Wind. And this group, they actually gathered people, some local people and some other from different cities. And each of them has a different profession, and they successfully combine their profession and also help this community from almost from death to reborn. And here is what they do. It's called rush weaving, and I will explain to you about what is rush weaving. And first is the rush. And in Miaoli, in that area, they start to grow this plant about 300 years ago by the Chinese immigrations. And they use this rush. After they harvest, they first dry them. And they have to lay it down under the sun for a few hours. And then they have to heat it with a hammer. And that helps the rush become softer. And after it becomes soft, you start to cut, make sure the rush is the same width, and then you can start to weave the thing you want to make. And the most popular over there is to make a hat like this. And make a guess how long will that take to make a hat, and from the harvest to it's done. It's totally take 100 days, handmade. And during the Japanese occupation from the 1920 to 1940s, we export a lot of hats like this to Japan, and that also supplied most of the people's lives there. But unfortunately, in the 1960s, this hat was taken over by other plastic products, which is cheaper and lasts longer. And also from the Southeast Asia, we import a lot of hats which is similar, maybe less quality, but price much cheaper. So very soon it was taken over. And plus in the 1960s to 70s, that's when the west part of Taiwan lots of factories were built, and it attracts lots of people work there because we work in the factory. It's the environment is nicer and you get paid better. But to make this rush weaving, like the grandma, the picture of the grandma we saw earlier, you have to stay the same position for several hours, and it hurts your back very much. So lots of people, after they have a chance, they all switch to the factory. So from the 60s to 90s, this skill start to disappear. Only after 90s, there are people try to uh, find these ladies who have this skill and back to the village and ask them how they used to weave, and then we make the products. And they not only advertise this traditional skill in Taiwan, but also overseas. They successfully brought this grandma from Taiwan all the way to Holland to show them how to make a hat or just to make a uh, small deer. And in the beginning, this grandma were very worried because they cannot speak English, but they told them, don't worry, just show them how you do it, and you will find a way to communicate. And at the end, they successfully understand each other just through the body language, which is very amazing. And also brought the grandma a lot of confidence because back in the 60s, this was something that no one want to do it. So for them, they always think, although I can make this, I can use this brush to make a hat, but it's not a big deal. If you use machines, you can make better product. But nowadays, people more focus on handmade product because it contain more higher temperature in it, not like machine. So through this time of their sharing experience, they also feel more confident about themselves. And now in Taiwan, it's become very, very popular. Every day, lots of people go to this village, and not only to experience, they also buy their handmade product, and it's truly successfully uh, uh, re and it successfully helped the economy of this small village. And if your home country or your hometown have something like this, I believe you can use it as a attraction. All you need is to make a standard procedure. Like to make a hat, you take 100 days, but usually travelers won't have 3 months stay at the same place. So if you can make it simple, make it to an hour or 2 hours activity, I think it will be very, very interesting for your future visitors. And besides the community-based tourism, another important thing is to be responsible recovery for our planet. And you probably already seen on TV or on the news that during this pandemic, because humans were forced to stay inside, so actually the natural world, the animals have a time to take a break. And I believe this is a sign that to remind people that not only us living on this planet, and we should focus more on the recovery of the planet. And first is to capture the value of conservation through tourism. We know tourism is like a a sword with two sharp sides, and you can use it to make a lot of money, but that can also cause lots of damage to the environment. But if you use it more wisely, like the example I just mentioned, you can use it to save a village, to give people a better life. And second is support the conservation efforts through tourism. So similar to the first idea, but we need to do more effort, and we need supporting from people, from government, from everyone. And third is to invest in natural-based solutions for sustainable tourism. And that's also the next thing I'd like to share with you, the sustainable tourism. And take a look of this picture. This was a picture from the Spanish National Park. And in the last 150 years, they haven't seen a bear like this inside the park. People thought this bear probably disappeared. But this year, because of the pandemic, they captured the bear again. And another picture from England. As you can see, the deers there. And another picture in England, as you can see, the goats are running around on the street. And that's also because most people were locked in their house, so the goats can have their own city tour. In Japan, you probably heard of a place called Nara, located on the west of Japan. And over there is very famous. There's a park, and there are lots of deer living there. And in the past, lots of people, when they visit the Nara park, they'll buy a bag of biscuits, and they used to feed these deers with the biscuit. And also these deers are very used to be fed by people, and sometimes they even fight for the biscuit. So it can be quite dangerous when you are there. You will see lots of signs warn you not to get too close to the deer, and what you should do if they try to grab you, they try to eat something from you. But now, this is the picture after the COVID-19, because not many tourists can visit Nara, so they have to find another way to make their own living. So some of them travel to the train station, or travel to the convenience store, to the city center, try to find food. And in the beginning, lots of people were worried about them because of the pandemic. Who will be able to feed them, and what they're gonna do, how they make their living. But after a few weeks, according to NHK, the news says now the Nara deer returned to wild after tourists disappeared. So and then the deer now eat more plants and chew the cud more often, and as they have better nutrition, they could have more fawns. So originally we worried for these animals that they are having some food issues, but at the end they still find food in a nature habitat where they used to belong to. So that's why the sustainable tourism is very important. As our population is growing bigger and bigger every day, we should find a balance with the other creatures on the world, and it should be used in every part of our life. And since we are working in the tourist industry, so we also need to try to find a way to start this sustainable tourism. According to the UN WTO, sustainability must no longer be a niche part of tourism, but must be the new norm for every part of our sector. So not only in the tourism, it also need to be used in our daily lives. And now let's take another short break. After the break, we will share with you about sustainable tourism. So stay tuned. I will be back.